Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is directed by Christopher McQuarrie once again after Rogue Nation and Fallout, and is the 7th film in the franchise, Part 1. In this one, Ethan and co have to deal with a threat that they don't quite seem to know what it is, and it could be something that could potentially have world-ending consequences, and so they have to find a way to stop it. But unlike other missions, this one seems a little more perilous because the enemy seems to be everywhere, and so unless they find a way to somehow outsmart it, they're going to be outnumbered and outgunned really, really fast. If it looks like I'm a little wet, it's because we're in the middle of a heat wave day of sorts, so it's really hot. I just got back from the theater and I kind of sprinted the last way because I really, really just had to unload my thoughts on camera as quickly as possible. When it comes to the Mission Impossible movies, I really love pretty much all of them. I even love 2 in a way that is, I know I understand that people have their grievances with 2, but I personally have an affectation towards 2, and so I revisit it quite often. And consistently, when it comes to the last few Mission Impossible movies, they have found a way to top themselves pretty much every single time. I would say Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout are 3 practically perfect movies. Fallout actually making it to the top 3 movies of my year-end list in 2018. And so naturally, going into Dead Reckoning Part 1, there is a lot of anticipation, there's a lot of hype, and you also have to remember that this was a monumental film to finish up, because they were filming during lockdowns and a lot of different stuff that was hitting them in the face of a global pandemic. And so the fact that they managed to finish this production at all, it's kind of a miracle. And so naturally you're hoping that the end result would be something that was just as great and just as monumental. And folks, I am very happy to report that Dead Reckoning Part 1 absolutely fits that bill. It is fantastic. I am genuinely amazed with the fact that constantly they keep topping themselves with each installment and they just don't seem to find an end to it. Granted, this one sets things up in a way that it seems to hint at the fact that this is going to be the last point for a while. And I'm hoping that's the case also, not because, it's like you don't want to keep going, but also because of that, you want to make sure you go out on a high note. There is this thing about, sort of leaving the party before it's too late, but we'll see how it goes with, Tom Cruise and co, like whether or not he wants to continue making these. And knowing how he is, his crazy ass will probably make a few more, and once again, he is up to the task doing some really crazy stuff in here. The man is unstoppable. I mean, this has been proven. He is certifiably insane when it comes to stunt work, and the fact that he manages to do some of these things is jaw-dropping. It's insane, and it's just the fact that he is still, being able to risk his life like this for the sheer entertainment of hundreds of people who are sitting in that IMAX theater, which is where the screening happened tonight. It's a testament to the fact that this guy just loves making movies. And there are moments in here that I'm sure you guys have seen highly publicized where you get to see some of those death-defying things. Once again, the action, because of that, is very grounded and very rooted in this realism, and constantly it feels very endangering. So when characters are in a moving vehicle and it feels like anything could hit them and hurt them, it's because of that practicality that you are genuinely worried something's going to hit them and hurt them. And so every blunt impact, every single moment where it feels like something is going to affect them in a physical way, you're constantly watching out for that and even may wince a little bit in pain. And the direction which McQuarrie does as a result of that is very immersive. Once again, just putting you into those sequences really, really well. It also has a really well-told story. It's a film that it takes a few moments, like it sets itself up, and so there's a lot of exposition in the first few minutes or so where you're just getting a bunch of details thrown at you. But after a while the film sort of settles up, and then eventually as you're starting to deal with what is the mission this time, you're so engaged in it, and the film at 2 hours and 43 minutes feels like 15 minutes. This thing flies, and I would say with this John Wick Chapter 4, these movies which are hitting like 2 hours, 43 minutes, 49 minutes when it comes to action, if they're all this well paced going forward, if this is how long you want to make them, please continue making them this long. Have fun with it. Go nuts. This film definitely is a testament to the fact that, you can make something really, really engaging despite the runtime. I don't think anybody felt it in our theater for even a moment. Lorne Ball's score, once again, fantastic. I would say he tops his Fallout work. Really, in a lot of ways, every single thing that this movie does tops that last one. Which, again, every movie improves in this series. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what it is. But I think if I had to take an educated guess, it's because somewhere along the way, especially with Ghost Protocol, they figured out the code. They figured out what makes a good movie like this. And it's not necessarily complicating it to an unbearable degree or trying to bog it down too much. It's keeping things simple and making sure the threats that are present feel threatening. And so in situations where Ethan finds himself in peril, in this particular one especially, because things seem so desperate, you feel that desperation. It's not something overly complicated. The plot itself is very simple. There is a very simple thing that is going on when it comes to what they're dealing with, which I'm not going to go into because of spoilers, but the way that threat is affecting them is what's making the film so perilous. I mean, it's making it feel like you're on the edge of your seat, and like heroes, our friends that we've known over the movies, may or may not make it out unscathed. And I love the fact that the film manages to accomplish that. And of course, it goes without saying, please watch it on the biggest screen imaginable. I mean, watching it in IMAX, fantastic. If you get to see it in IMAX, please do. I also think you have a time on that because Oppenheimer is the week after and it's going to basically take over everything. And so naturally you want to watch, this as fast as possible in those days. But even if you make it to like a Dolby Cinema or something like that, just go for the sound design, which is incredible. This thing sounds it's insane. There are some moments that genuinely are, ground shaking, definitely in the theater. I know you're thinking hyperbole. You're thinking this guy's just going on and on, like singing the praises. We're gonna see something, it's gonna be like, yeah, good, but it's not as good. Not always do I say things like this. When I genuinely love something as much as I have Dead Reckoning Part 1, I make it clear. There's no hyperbole here. I genuinely mean every word I'm saying right now, and I mean this with with honest truth. This is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. As an action movie, it's fantastic. As a Mission Impossible movie, I've already made it clear. This is one of my favorite movies. That car outside agrees with me. So I just at this point in time, I'm just gonna say go see the movie. Because I can't really give you spoilers much more on it. I love the team dynamics once again. Everybody else who comes back in here is great. I think the new characters, some of them are really, really cool, like Isai Morales. I think he's fantastic as the antagonist in the movie. Palm Clementif as a henchwoman for him, who was really, really cool as well. So there's some really great stuff happening with those characters. And yeah, just go check it out. I think if you're a Mission Impossible fan, you're gonna love this. I think if you're a Tom Cruise fan, you're gonna love it. I think if you're just a fan of action movies, you're going to be very pleased with Dead Reckoning Part 1, and I cannot wait to see Part 2. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing this again, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And yes, very much so, I'm going to give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 a well-deserved 10 out of 10. This is one of the only 10 out of 10s I've given this year so far. And all three of them so far, they're for sequels. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, John Wick Chapter 4, Dead Reckoning Part 1. There's another one, I haven't reviewed it yet. I'll do that later on. I'll talk to you guys about that as well. But yeah, things are looking up for 2023. This has been a very solid past few weeks of film, especially. And so I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. Tell me what you guys think of Dead Reckoning Part 1 whenever you guys get a chance to see it. And whenever you guys do, we'll talk more about it in the comments down below. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe. Thank you very much once again. And I'll see you guys at the movies.